do you have time for a quick story? I thought you would. Just going home from work today, riding along, and I remembered a story that I thought, hey, you would probably like this. This involves Papa Bear. Now, if you're a new subscriber and you haven't gone far enough back in my videos, Papa Bear, well, heck, I'm not even going to tell you. I'll just go ahead with the story, and if you feel like you need to go back, you can like click up here in the left-hand side of the corner here. I'll put a link for you. You can go back. But this story, I'm sure you're probably one of those kind of people, perhaps if you're like me, that doesn't want to read the instructions right away. Maybe you're just like, no, I'm fine, and you start going at it, and then you get halfway through and you're like, something's not working here, and then you kind of feel like you have to look at the instructions, and then you realize, yeah, I should have looked at the instructions right off the bat. So if you're that kind of person, then just go along for the story. If not, you might want to go back and check out that link. This story involves two people. Papa Bear, you're an idiot! And a guy who at the time was working for us, his name was Mike. And to this day it still is Mike, but at that time his name was Mike, which doesn't even make sense anyways. So Mike at the time was just getting into construction, and you know, he'd helped his dad around the house and doing things on the farm and that sort of stuff, but he was pretty new to the whole process, and the whole eye-hand coordination thing, it was pretty good, but you know, at first it takes a while to sort of hone your skill of taking a nail, and in this case the nail is a duplex 3.5-inch nail, which is a nail that has two heads. So you pound it down to the first head and it leaves the second head sticking out, and it's primarily used for stripping like formwork, so you can strip it after. So Mike was just learning, you know, he wasn't even an apprentice at the time. I think he was just a laborer, and Mike was trying to drive these 3-inch duplex nails into some formwork, into a 2x4, and he was doing the classic new guy to nail thing. So he'd go take the hammer, the nail, he'd go tick tick, and he'd go ping ping, and the nail would pop off. So you get another one, he'd go tick tick ping, and the nail would go off. So he was having some problems with this, and you know, if you're working around guys like that, you kind of show them, you know, here, I got an idea for you, try this. But a lot of it just comes from practice, and you just have to let the guy sort of, you know, dial in his eyeball to his hand so he can just duk and drive that sucker home. Well, he's nailing away, and he's probably had 3, 4, maybe even 5 nails go, you know, flying off. Well, Papa Bear is standing behind him with his arms folded, just staring at him with this really disgruntled look on his face. And the thoughts in his head were probably transferring to his face, like, this kid can't do anything right, I'm gonna show him. Now, if he actually thought that, perhaps he did, but that's what his face looked like. So, Mike's nailing away, ping, 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 and he's getting a couple in, but, you know, the majority of them are getting fired off into left field. So, Papa Bear comes over. He walks up beside him, sits down, kneels down beside him, and he takes a nail, and he puts the nail down on the 2x4. He says to Mike, now hit it! And Mike's like, I'm not very, just hit it! And Mike's like, all right. All right, now I must tell you, Papa Bear is of Dutch descent. Now, I don't know how many of you out there are from Holland originally, but all the people I know from Holland they're quite large in stature. And because you're large in stature, everything about you is big, including his hands. So he had big sausage, meaty hands. So when he would, hey, how's it going? So when he would hang on to this nail, there wasn't much nail sticking out of this thing. So you can imagine what's going through Mike's head when this happens. So back to the story. He takes the nail, he puts it down, hit it. Mike's like, oh, hey man, I'm not very good, just hit it. Mike's like, oh. Mike goes, boom, completely misses the nail and just lays into his fingers with his like 21-ounce hammer. Oh! Mike's like, hey man, I tried to tell you. And Papa Bear just got up and walked away because there was nothing that he could say to blame this on Mike. He was just, I don't know what he was thinking. I would never have done that. Heck, when I drive a nail myself, I just set it and move my hand, because heck, yeah, it only takes a brief second of distraction and you're gonna be off that nail. So Papa Bear's great instructions, you know, his tutorial, his I'll show you how to nail, I'm gonna teach you, whatever it was that was going through his head, it's starting to rain. Totally backfired, and I really appreciate his arrogance, because his arrogance makes for such great stories. Hey man, I tried to tell you. Oh! What an idiot. Oh, what a maroon. Anyways, actually, you know, the surprising thing is Papa Bear was quite an intelligent individual, as in being able to, you know, work things out, crunch things out, make jobs run, but he had zero personal skills. Or I shouldn't say zero, perhaps he just had, like, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, like a light 3, something like that. So, you know, yeah, I'm sure you people have met those kind of individuals, and if you have, you know, make a comment below. But hey, you know what? For the rest of us, he's a great example as to how not to behave. So take it as, you know, that sort of slant on things. And great stories. Hey man, I tried to tell you. Oh, classic. Oh, I got another one. I'm not going to tell it this time, but I'll remember to do it some other time. But there's another one that's just completely uncomfortable to tell, but still funny.